This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by El Gato, Jack Catterall over Zoom. Jack, always a pleasure. How are you?
Yeah, all good, Andy. Been nice these last couple of weeks just to spend a bit of time with the family and just enjoy myself.
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, you've been up to anything specific with this bit of downtime that you've had?
You know what? I've not really. We've had some nice weather, so it's been nice just having a few nice meals and spending some time with the family. And for me, it's just the little things: going to the park with a little girl and swimming lessons, and just keeping busy.
But for as nice as it must be, and you mentioned that word there, busy, activity is obviously something which you're key to continue to start to build on now within your career. Fought Dara Foley a few weeks back, and I'm sure you want to try and build some momentum from there. So since we last spoke on the back of that win, is there anything kind of progressing with talks with Matchroom, with Sam on that front?
Yeah, like you said, it's activity is going to be the key now, and I think between Sam, Jamie, and Nigel, we know that I'm going to get the best out of myself with that momentum going forward. So we had the fight, but before that, we was out the ring for 15 months. So I also understand it's important to get the rest. So I've had a couple of weeks at home now, resting, but I'm chomping at the bit, ready to go. So I know there has been talks. Obviously, we've got this fight this Saturday, this Regis Prograis fight. So I'll be keeping a close eye on that one, and I'm confident in Matchroom delivering a big fight for me later this year.
As what question I was going to ask, Jack, obviously we'll touch on both these fights. We saw Josh this past weekend lose to Teo, and obviously you mentioned Regis this weekend coming. Um, on the back of your fight with Dara Foley, how much of an impact or decision rather is influenced by what happened in both of those fights, because you're somewhat waiting to see what happens in them to see if they can be then delivered to you?
Yeah, of course. I've made it quite clear that I want to be involved in some big fights at this stage of my career now, which I feel like I'm ready for, and I'm in a great position to be involved in them. So it's interesting how it's going to unfold. I know the division now is stacked with a lot of good fighters, a lot of good fights to be made. And like I said, I am confident in Sam, Matchroom, and Jamie making the right decision for me and getting involved in these fights.
Outside of this weekend just gone and this weekend coming, the winners and the losers of those fights, is that who do you look at and think is an achievable name that maybe we haven't thought of or mentioned? Because just say if you can't be delivered one of those, a Regis fight, a Tio, a Josh, then who else are you looking at?
You know what, Andy? I'd be totally honest. I've been leaving that to Sam and Jamie and to Matchroom. Um, I'm in the gym, I'm training, and I've made it clear to Sam as my instruction that I want a big fight. Ultimately, I want a world title fight. Uh, I'm not stupid. I know if that can't be made, they will pick the right opponent for me going forward. But I don't see any roadblock stopping a fight with Regis Prograis. Uh, if it comes through this Saturday, got no mandatories on him. We're both with Matchroom now, so I've made it clear I want that fight, and I'm confident they can do it.
Regis has obviously been linked with the Devin Haney fight as well. He said the three names that I saw him mention earlier on were yourself, Devin, and Teofimo, obviously on the back of last weekend. The Haney one must probably be the most lucrative, you would imagine. How has Eddie said anything to you about the offer he's made to try and make Haney versus Prograis and how it might impact you?
No, I mean I've left it with Sam. I don't know about any offers to Haney to me, etc. But from my point of view, Haney, I don't know if he's contractually free now from top rank, but uh, from my point of view, I'm signed with Matchroom. So's Prograis. He's got a fight Saturday. Uh, make the offer, you accept the fight. It's not going to be too difficult of a negotiation. Where I'm guessing with the Haney fight, and like you just said, it's a more lucrative fight. Uh, Probably is a lot more work to make that fight happen and get it over the line.
Just on Regis, what do you expect from his fight this coming weekend?
Yeah, no disrespect to Regis's opponent, who I forgot who he's fighting. To be honest, obviously he was penciled to fight Leon Parot, but he unfortunately pulled out injured. So I've not seen who he's fighting, but I've seen the little clips of Regis's interviews, and although he's not going to take his eye off the ball, he seems pretty confident he's going to get through this Saturday. And he's talking about the likes of fighting myself and Haney and the Lopez's. So I'm confident he'll do it, and I'll be setting the alarm and watching on Saturday night.
Provided Regis comes through, how quickly do you want to see your team moving towards that fight? I know you're kind of in that period where you may be just ticking over now, but will it be a matter of on Monday you expect Sam to be speaking to Eddie to try and secure that fight?
Yeah, of course. I know Regis is hungry to fight, and he's not turned down any fights before, like myself. So don't see anything stopping the fight. And I understand Regis fights Saturday. He's going to have to recover. We hope he gets through the fight with no bumps and cuts, etc. But there's no reason that fight can't happen in the fall.
Just obviously going away from Regis, as we mentioned earlier on, last weekend we saw Josh Taylor lose his world title to Teofimo Lopez. Just your reflections, please, Jack, on what you made on that fight.
Yeah, I thought it was a good fight. I thought Taylor started probably, I think, before round 5. He had 1 or 2 good rounds, and then he seemed shot to pieces. For me, Lopez ran away with the fight. Was controlling the distance, the range. Taylor was running forward, a bit like when we boxed, but running out of ideas, and kind of took the fight to him, but got beat up. Thought Lopez boxed well. He found his rhythm quite early for me. After 4 or 5 rounds, he's found his rhythm. I think Taylor had a good round in the 10th, maybe, had a winning round, but yeah, they looked quite comfortable for Lopez in there. So I was obviously made up for Lopez.
Going into the fight, Jack, a lot of people expected Josh to win. People were questioning Teofimo's kind of commitment to the sport, his mental state alongside that. Was it a surprise to you to see Teofimo come out on top? And did you see it wide from the way that you're speaking now?
No, you know what? I did pick Taylor to win, but I was really intrigued to see how they both performed. Obviously, hearing Teofimo's mental state, knowing Taylor's had 15 months out of the ring, the injuries, etc., new coach. So, yeah, I was really intrigued to see how the fight would unfold. But I wasn't surprised at all the way that the fight did unfold, and it is what it is now.
Obviously, just looking at Josh specifically because of a rivalry you two have built up over these last couple of years. Disappointed, expected more? How would you sum up his performance specifically?
Yeah, disappointed. We had the rematch scheduled 3 times, and he withdrew from, decided to fight Lopez, and it's just unfortunate for me that I didn't get to beat him up, and Lopez did. So it is what it is.
Now that he's lost, do you still have an interest in that rematch? I mean, I know he's speaking a lot about moving up to 147, but if he was to stick around at 140, would you have an interest there, or is it kind of dead in the water now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think he's shot to pieces. If I'm honest, Andy, I don't see who top rank put him in with at 147. I know he's had a great career, and we can't deny that, but there's a few blemishes on there now, and I think, I don't know, he's had a lot of tough fights. So for me, I don't see where he goes really. Would I be open to the rematch? Possibly. I would love to beat him up again, but he doesn't bring much to the table now in that regard. So we'll see.
From obviously just going off what you're saying, do you think that he could have any success up at 147?
You know what? Never say never. He said he made the weight comfortable, etc. Maybe that's why he was shot to pieces. He didn't find any energy in the fight to get through them gears. But I honestly believe he's shot. I think we've seen it. I think I beat him, give Lopez the blueprint, and Lopez ran away with it and beat him up. And I think after 4 rounds, Josh was shot. And sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see who top rank put him in with at 147 and what success he could have. So yeah, we'll leave that there.
I know it's difficult to say because he wasn't new in the ring, but obviously there's a lot of talk about his weight after the fight. And I've said in a few interviews, being in and around him in that fight week, it seemed like it's the most comfortable I've seen him in terms of making weight. He was really happy, he's jolly, making jokes. I remember seeing him the night before he went to do his final session. He was in really good spirits. And he didn't look too bad on the scale either. When you're watching it, do you look at him and think that the weight and him having to do it for so many years did play a part, or would you disagree?
Yeah, I think it goes back to when we boxed, and he was really struggling to make the weight, which obviously now in turn we know that it was the lack of discipline maybe in that camp. But I think he proved again. He said after our fight that he was going to move up to 147 immediately. He's stayed around for 15 months, which is a long time, and he's done the weight comfortably. So he's obviously stayed disciplined in camp and done things the right way. I don't know. Everybody's different, aren't they? He's been making that weight for a long time, as have I. Still making it comfortably now, but we're talking about Lopez, a solid undisputed, but a 135 fighter coming up to 140, and Josh couldn't put a dent in him really. So if it's not the weight issue, and he is going to move up to 147, I struggle seeing him having much success or being as dominant at 147 as he was at 140.
Obviously, I think everybody in that division, whoever's going to be fighting there, is going to wait to see what happens between Crawford and Spence. You would imagine the winner of that fight might look to vacate the undisputed crown and then move up to do so again and try and pick up belts there. But that's just thinking aloud. Just kind of looking at Crawford, Spence, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm super excited for that fight. Really interesting fight, and I think I called it as soon as it got announced. I've gone with Crawford. But again, you can't write off Spence. For me, I think the slightly better boxing IQ goes with Crawford. Spence has had a few eye injuries, a few layoffs that have been longer than Crawford's. So, but no, fancy Crawford that fight, but I expect a tough fight for Crawford as well.
Obviously, this fight has been spoken about for a couple of years now, Jack, and I'm sure everybody would have rather have seen it 2 years ago as opposed to now because of how long it's taken to get over the line. And you mentioned the lack of activity on Spence's behalf, Crawford not necessarily being as active as well. But does it take away from the fight knowing we've had to wait that bit longer for it?
You know what? I think with this fight, we would have liked to have seen it maybe 2-3 years ago, but it's for me, it's not one of them fights that has gone on too long. Maybe like the Mayweather Pacquiao fight, but I'm just happy that we get to see another great fight in the sport that we all love.
One final thing I want to go back to rather than touch on, just to look at Teofimo's performance. Now he holds that title. He's claimed he's a two-weight undisputed champion. I'll leave that for your own decision to make there, Jack. But what did you make of his performance specifically? What holes did you spot that you feel you could exploit?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few holes that I could exploit, but no, ultimately I was made up for Lopez. He boxed well, he found his rhythm, and he was pretty much by the end of the fight teeing off on Taylor, single punches out of nowhere, and yeah, he made a mess of him, but he certainly wouldn't do that to me.
He's obviously said since he's going to retire. Do you think that's just talk, or do you think he may genuinely take a break from the sport?
No, you know what? He seems like he does have a lot of personal stuff going on in his life, which is his business. I hope that he does continue to boxing. He's certainly a name that I'd love to have a fight with, but I hope he does carry on fighting.
Right, Jack. I will leave it there now. I'll leave you to obviously enjoy the rest of your evening. I know time's getting on, so thank you for speaking to me. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
Andy, thank you very much. God bless.
In fact, Jack, before I let you go, there is one more fight in your division. It's a few levels beneath world level, but Dalton Smith and Sam Maxwell in a couple of weeks' time. Just want to get your take on that, please.
Yeah, never sparred Maxwell. Seen him last fight in a Liverpool show for the IBO world title where it wasn't his greatest performance. Dalton Smith looks good. He's had that momentum. It'd be nice to see him win that British title outright. I've got a lot of time for Dalton and his dad Grant. Yeah, I think Dalton's got the momentum going forward and only going off Maxwell's. Was it his last performance where he lost for the IBO? Is he boxing since then?
Yeah, he boxed once, I believe, since then on a Matchroom show, and yeah, he won.
Right, the momentum's with Dalton, so I'm going to go for a Dalton win.
All right, Jack. Now I can leave you to enjoy your evening. Thank you for speaking to me, and I'll see you soon.
Andy, thank you very much.